Welcome back to my channel Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. They were nice men, but they were tow guys. Sam Elliott's voice has been famous for many years. Deep, strong, and easy to recognize. But behind the mustache, the cowboy hats, and infamous Western movie style is something most fans never knew about, a quiet tanger that's been building for years. Because even though Sam has earned a lot of respect during his six-tire career, there are 6 actors he's never forgiven. Some for what they did to acting, others for what they did to him personally at work, or secretly behind his back. He never said their names until now. At 80 years old, he's not holding back anymore. And when you hear who Madaha's list of people doesn't like, you'll never see them same way again. Let's start with the actor who made Sam leave a movie set and never come back. Kevin Costner, the cowboy he couldn't stand. Sam Elliott built his career on being real. Every role, every line was earned. He wasn't just playing cowboys. He was one raised on farms, living in the dust and hard work of the Old West. Sam brought something to the screen that felt lived in, worn down, and real. You could smell leather in his voice. You could feel years in his eyes. You believed him box. He was the real thing. So when he saw Kevin Costner playing a cowboy in Wyatt Earp, and later as the tough father in Yellowstone, Sam was not impressed. To him, Costner was Hollywood's fake version of a cowboy. Clean boots, perfect lines, and perfect lighting. It wasn't the West. It was a movie set. He once told a friend he plays a farm owner like it's dress up, like he's pretending to be something he doesn't really understand. While fans love Yellowstone, its exciting drama, its beautiful camera work, and Costner's raw voice, Sam rolled high sighs. He didn't see the West he knew. He saw a shiny fake story made for people who'd never dug a fence post or smelled cows at sunrise. To Sam, it was a postcard version Afro life, cleaned up and made pretty. People who work in movies say he was even asked to be in the show, but said no right away. It's calling it a soap opera with a cowboy hat, and that no wasn't just about the script. It was a statement, a quiet but clear rejection of what Yellowstone was all about. To Elliott, Western movies weren't. It's just fun to watch. They were a way of living. He liked toughness, self-control, and the kind of quiet that spoke louder than words. Costner, he felt, brought shine, glamour, big money appeal with little heart. Even when Theto were in the same room, you could feel the tension was thick. It's one movie. Producers said they never yelled, but the coldness between them could freeze a desert. And that fight wouldn't be the beginning. Benedict Cumberbatch, Too British for the West, in 2021. Sam Elliott shocked fans and people he worked with when he openly attacked the power of the dog. There was no sugarcoating. No carefully chosen, nice words wrapped in fake compliments. Those words, sharp, raw, totally honest, and they hit like a lost bullet in Aquiot Bar, loud, sudden, and impossible to ignore. But it wasn't just about the film's speed or its Aristociases. It was personal. Sam focused on Benedict Cumberbatch, the British star of the movie, with razor-sharp fate. Making fun of his accent, his posture, add what he famously called a fancy portrayal of a Western farm owner. Sam gave the kind of criticism that doesn't get taken back in a polished press tour. What the heck does this British guy know about American West? He laughed during a podcast show, his voice dripping with equal parts anger and disbelief. The reaction was immediate, angry. Fans of Cumberbatch and oft film's modern thinking take on being a man rose up in protest. Social media exploded. Critics called Sam an old-fashioned person from a time that's gone. It's a stubborn toe change with the type of movies he once helped create. They said he was keeping others out, of holding on to old ideas aftownness, and refusing to make room for fresh voices. But Sam didn't blink. He didn't write a statement explaining himself or offer a different explanation. Tested firm like a cowboy. To him, the power of the dog didn't just miss the point. Disrespected the tradition he tried to copy. He believed it made broken manhood look romantic and didn't understand what the Western movie released it for. He wasn't attacking one performance. He was defending a legacy. A type of movie built on quiet strength, hard-earned wisdom, and a deeply personal set of rules. Benedict Cumberbatch never answered back directly, but people close to the situation say he was deeply hurt. Movie studio bosses reportedly held quiet discussions about whether to answer publicly, perhaps with a subtle attack or a diplomatic counterpoint. But Cumberbatch chose silence over drama. Sam, on the other hand, stewed be every word like a gunslinger who'd already taken his 10 steps and pull at the trigger. To him, the West wasn't a custom or a movie filter. It was a set of rules, a way of life that demanded truth, not what's popular. And he wasn't about to tell it anyone, no matter how famous, rewrite it while he was watching. That mad at people mad. Just wait until you hear who criticized next. Kutcher. The actor who embarrassed acting. To Sam Elliott, acting is sacred. It's not a popularity contest, not a playground for people who want to be famous, influencers, or tech business owners, but a craft built through discipline, patience, and emotional truth. Every role he believed it to come from someplace real, gut level, earned. So when Ashton Kutcher became a star through that 70s show, followed by a bunch of lightweight romantic comedies and flashy Silicon Valley businesses, it didn't impress Sam. It made him mad. To Elliott, it felt like a slap in the face of everything. Evolute. Still, when the two were cast together for the Netflix series The Ranch, Sam didn't complain. He showed up, learned his lines, did the work. He was a professional after all. But, behind the scenes, the problems started dearly. Crew members say the tension was easy to feel, even when no words were said. Sam reportedly complained Torker's in quiet moments, shaking his head. He's a decent guy, he washed saying, but no real actor. It wasn't about Ashton's attitude. It was his approach that bothered Sam. To Elliott, Kutcher represented a new Hollywood, one where computer programs mattered more than being real, where follower counts were more important than resumes, where charm and copying ability replaced discipline and heart. To Sam, this wasn't growth. It was wearing away. The sacred art of street telling was being watered down by shortcuts, fakeness, and slick marketing. And while the show's audience saw chemistry on screen, Sam knew truth. It was just acting, nothing more. Kutcher always polished in interviews, called Sam a legend and praised him as Sigger. But Sam, behind closed doors, he was far less nice. He's acting like a guy who learned acting on YouTube. He reportedly muttered to a friend. Wasn't hate, it was standards. Sam wasn't holding a grudge. He was protecting a dying set of rules. One that demanded being present, stillness, truth. He saw a world where storytelling was becoming a show, where tradition was buying sold for clicks, and he hated it. The ranch may have worked for fans, but behind the curtain, there was no brotherhood, no bond, only putting up with each other. And next came the name that truly shook Sam's world, Nicolas Cage. Too loud, too weird. Sam Elliott loved subtlety to him. The most powerful performance didn't shout, they simmer. A residibro, a loaded silence, a single word held just long enough to cut deep. He believed. The soul of acting lived not in volume, but in holding back. The quiet, grounded kind of performance that doesn't beg for attention. It earns it. So when Nicolas Cage exploded into the mainstream with his weird high-energy style, flailing, arms, big eyes, sudden outbursts, Sam didn't see brilliance, saw chaos. To him, Cage wasn't becoming a character. He was sputting on a show. A one-man show that took over every frame and sucked the oxygen out of the scene, even when they both appeared. In Ghost Rider, Sam kept this distance on set. Polite? Yes. Respectful? Always. Warm? Not even close. In later interviews, Sam never said names, but his criticisms were pointed. He spoke of actors who took over screen with ego, who turned every scene into their personal stage play. Louder, bigger, flashier, friends. Close to Sam knew exactly who Hammett. It was Cage. He's more firework than flame. Sam reportedly told one close friend, Big Bang. No heat. While Cage built a cult following on being unpredictable and manic energy, Sam stayed loyal to a slower, steadier craft. He believed in underplaying and letting the audience lean in, not pull back. To Sam, Cage represented a disturbing shift in modern movies, a thirst for shock over story, a love of chows for its own sake. He saw it as style overwhelming substance, acting, as entertainment, not art. And while Cage won occasional awards and gave performances that critics called brilliantly unhinged, Sam wasn't buying it. Not for a second. To him, no trophy could fix what he saw as empty theatrics. Because true acting, in Elliott's book, wasn't about going viral. It was about going inward, about truth, stillness, humanity, the very things he believed Cage had long since given up. But the most unexpected name, the one that hit the hardest, was someone Simmons considered a friend. Jeff Bridges, the friendship that turned cold. Sam and Jeff Bridges were once cut from the same cloth. Deep voices, grounded, poetic insolence. They didn't need flashy speeches or dramatic breakdowns to own a scene. Their power came from presence, that rare magnetic stillness few actors ever master. They were men who spoke volumes without raising their voices. Together, they starred in the cult classic The Big Lebowski, a film that would go on to become a cultural landmark. On screen, they were magnetic, two sides of the same coin. Off-screen, they shared laughs, long conversations, and what looked like a real friendship built on trust and mutual respect. But somewhere along the line, something broke. Not in a dramatist explosion, but in a slow, quiet falling apart that neither of them talked about out loud. After Bridges won his Oscar for Crazy Heart, Sam reportedly noticed a change. The man who showed humility and low-key charm began showing up in high-end fashion magazines, going to red carpets with political slogans on his chest, and appearing in sleek, carefully planned press events. He became harder to reach, Cytosaurus close to Elliott, less grounded, more carefully managed. To Sam, it felt like the honesty that defined Jeff had been replaced by Hollywood polish, the simplicity. They swore by their shared belief in letting the work do the talking, seemed to dissolve under the weight of celebrity. In a rare interview when asked about past people he worked with, Sam offered a mysterious but unmistakable barmack. Some folks change, others just show who they always were. Many believe it was a direct shot at Bridges, and though Jeff never responded. True to his calm diplomatic nature, the silence he thought followed was deafening. They stopped going to the same festivals, stopped supporting each other's projects, stopped being brothers of the screen. For Sam, the pain wasn't rooted in ego or rivalry. It wasn't about words or politics. It was about something far more personal. It was throwing away of a bond he once thought umbilical, a bond built not on fame but on values. And when that crumbled, it left behind a quiet ache Sam rarely spoke about. People close to the situation say he felt abandoned. Not through betrayal, but through drifting apart over time, the slow realization that the man he once stood beside stood somewhere else entirely. And that the ache of lost brotherhood was nothing compared to what came next. Because the final name was the one Sam never expected to confront. Jared Leto, the method gone mad. Sam Elliott's biggest pet peeve. Showing off not confidence, not commitment, but the kind-off, over-the-top, look-at-me, self-importance that turns art into performance art for the actor's ego. Noth audiences benefit. So, when Jared Leto became known for his extra method acting, sending rats to a pole he acted with, refusing to break character for weeks, turning film sets into psychological obstacle courses, Sam didn't see brilliance. He saw a gimmick. He wasn't impressed by the headlines or the Oscar. He was irritated by the show. Sam once called it theatric spending to be talent, and he didn't mean it lightly. Privately, he was even more blunt. He needs that much of Forto act, he reportedly said to a friend. Maybe he's in the wrong job, Twellia. Great acting didn't need press tours or behind the scenes, her aura stories. It required disappearing into the role quietly, efficiently, with dignity. It wasn't about turning. It's a process into a carnival. It was about making the character real. Though Sam and Leto never shared a set, people close to the situation claimed that Sam was once attached to a film during its early development. Hal liked the story. He liked the director. Then he heard Jared Leto had been cast. He walked away. No press release, no phone call, just a quiet but firm exit. That showed deep the line was drawn. To Sam, acting isn't meant to be a circus. It's supposed to be honest, still human. It's a kind of work that moves people, not shocks them. And that final name, It proved just how far the art form had strayed from its roots. At 80, Sam Elliott isn't chasing roles. He's chasing truth. And part of that truth, some actors, no matter how famous, just didn't deserve the respect. For Sam, acting is about honesty, tradition, and holding back. And if that means standing alone, he's fine with that. 'Cause in a town full of noise, Sam Elliott remains the last real cowboy. But now, we want to hear from you. Which of these fights surprised you the most? Right? And do you think Sam was being harsh or just honest? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, Baggas. More Hollywood secrets are coming soon.